Hey everybody, this is Daniel.
Emmanuel.
With Bothersome Truth, and we're going to talk about this fantastic news that Hillary and Donald Trump are close in the polls and not in a good way. Apparently, Donald Trump is leading her 45 to 42% in the most recent CNN poll.
I told you.
We're going to show you some footage, and then we'll be right back with Bothersome Truth.
National CNN poll out for the presidency. Now, Donald Trump, it's almost not fair. The guy's, there's never been a train wreck of this proportion in history. A ham sandwich would be killing this guy in the polls. Am I right? I mean, anybody could run against this guy. But whoa! Hillary Clinton losing to Donald Trump in a national poll. Now, whether that's within the margin of error or if it's this, that, and they didn't ask the question, that is pathetic.
All right, so currently right now, Donald Trump is leading Hillary Clinton 45, 42%. Gary Johnson's at 7%, and according to what I have Jill Stein at just 2%. So what say you, Emmanuel?
I guess people don't want a warmonger. I guess people don't like the idea that you have a candidate who's taking secret classified information, putting it into a private server in her frickin' house, and exposing that information to who knows where. It just goes wherever she wants to. And then when you try to investigate that information, she's smashing BlackBerries and iPads. I guess that's what people don't like. I don't know. But for some reason, you know what? I just wish the American people had some kind of an alternative. Like I wish they were given a candidate who was both trustworthy, who had good policy ideas, the Democratic Party. I wish they had a candidate, who didn't have a bunch of scandals following them around. But they didn't get that. They didn't get that opportunity,
Did
Daniel.
the Democrats ever have a candidate like that?
No, there's no freaking way. Because, if they had a candidate, if they had the opportunity to have a candidate who didn't have a bunch of scandals, haunting them, who had great policy ideas, and had...
somebody who had stood for something their entire lives.
Right, and had an awesome approval rating, stood for something their entire lives.
Who appealed to millennials.
They would have obviously picked that person, especially if they could defeat Donald Trump by double digits, right? Because now they're losing by 3%, and within the margin of error.
That point is key, folks, because Bernie Sanders, who you're going to say, yeah, he lost. Yes, he did, but even in the entire span of the election cycle and the way the DNC acted and the leaks, we know that it was not a fair fight. But when you look at the poll numbers when he was still running, he had double-digit leads over Trump, Cruz. Like, he was in the lead against Kasich if Kasich had won. So this actually is a big deal. This is what I find interesting, because this is the conversation we need to have about Hillary losing to Trump. Is that people like us told you so.
Told you.
We said this was going to happen. There was a great exchange on TYT between Anna, John, and Ben. If you watch The Young Turks, I do. And they were Anna and John were talking about how they foresaw this. And Ben made a comment to the tune of, Democrats, we didn't realize that Hillary would have this trouble of in the general election. Mm-hmm. But we did. Yeah. So when we look at these poll numbers, and it is CNN, but we're in September. Like, the numbers are starting to matter more the closer we get, because the American people are waiting till the very last minute to make their decision.
9 weeks out.
Especially in an election where we don't like the choices that we have. So when we look at this, what we're saying is, like, none of this is new. Whether the scandals of Hillary are fair or not, and I think some of them, most of them, a good number are fair, a few aren't. Whether they're fair or not, though, Hillary had these issues way before. We knew she was going to be investigated by the FBI. We knew there was going to be these questions. We knew that trust ratings were low. And people still rammed it in to say she should be the candidate. And now look, Donald Trump, like, think about all the terrible things he has said and done. And he has a 3 percentage point lead. Now, some of you are going to say that's in the margin of error. So,
in the margin of error.
Yeah, but here's
There
the
wouldn't have
problem.
been a margin
It
of error
shouldn't
if it
even
was-
be tied.
It shouldn't even be there.
If the margin of error is 3 and you put him and her at 42% each, it still shouldn't be a tie.
Be a tie.
It shouldn't be close. He's a clown.
Yeah.
Do you trust? Like we just did a video. You should check it out when we talk about Gary Johnson and his flub with Aleppo. Do you think Trump knows where Aleppo is?
Fuck no.
No, he doesn't. I'm not even sure he knows where Syria is. He knows Saudi Arabia is because he made billions or millions of dollars with them. But that's another topic. So we don't trust that Donald Trump knows foreign policy. And we don't trust Hillary's position on foreign policy. So it just blows my mind. It really blows my mind.
No, we told you.
We said this was going to happen. And this isn't about stroking our egos, although that's fun sometimes. This is about that we saw this kind of campaign coming.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about before we recorded, how in a perfect world, Bernie would have been the perfect opponent to Trump because Bernie and Trump are trying to sell the same thing, except Trump's product is fake and Bernie's is real.
Yeah.
And people would have been, oh, that's the real one. It's not even
Yeah.
close. But her, like, no matter what she does, we don't trust her, so it's not going to work. If she doesn't have a press conference, we're questioning her. When she has one, we tear apart what she says. When she gets held accountable, people want to call it sexism. When you don't hold her
She's not
accountable,
a
then
likable
people say
candidate.
it's favoritism. No matter what, at this point, people don't trust her because she's given a lot of reasons, unfortunately, for people not to trust her.
Absolutely fair and warranted reasons. And this is what I think neoliberals just can't get under control. They want the reasons why people oppose her to be based on her sex, right? They want it to be about sexism, right? They want it to be about misogyny, but it has absolutely nothing to do with it. If you ask any skeptic of Hillary Clinton, any person who is critical of Hillary Clinton, her gender is far from the last thing that ever comes up. In fact, the majority of our ardent skeptics are people who will support Jill Stein. So that's thrown out the window.
Yeah.
The reason why people oppose her is because of the policies. It's because of her history.
War in
and it's-
Iraq.
Yes.
Wall Street.
And it's because of her habits. She is habituated with this sort of clandestine rogue attitude where she just does whatever the fuck she wants to.
Flipping
And
on the
people
bankruptcy bill, flipping on healthcare.
Right.
Used to be for universal, now not, and then you have to press her for it. Not for
trust her.
$15 minimum wage for $12.
People feel like she's bought and paid for. People feel her insincerity just oozing out of her. And it's not one of those things where you could fake anymore. In fact, also on TYT, I don't really mean to keep on referring to them, but Jake says that the best thing that Hillary Clinton could do is to drop the facade and just be whoever the heck that person is. Because she clearly has on a facade, right? There's clearly a real Hillary Clinton underneath there. And we need to see who that person is.
That'll never happen.
I don't think I don't think it will overshadow the things that she's done and the actions she's committed herself to, but I think it will help people to stop feeling this unsettling feeling that she's like hiding something, and
will never happen. And here's why. This is the one thing that I do think is fair when we talk about sexism and Hillary, is that I do think that she has been the target of attacks because she has been a woman, and I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about like 20, 30 years ago. That a woman on the ascension, a woman who's trying to fight for things, I do think she got attacked a lot because of sexism. And I do think she has built a wall around herself because back in those days, especially when Republicans were going after her with Whitewater and things, no matter what she said, it was going to be used against her. So she's got this wall. And that wall is too deep and wide and entrenched. It's not going away in this cycle. That's why people talk about her being a terrible candidate and a good leader. I question that. But if she's a terrible candidate, it's because we don't see who she really is. Whereas Bernie, like, to bring it back to him, I know it's going to get on some of y'all's nerves, but bring it back to Bernie because we know who Bernie is. And just to be fair, because some of y'all may not want to hear Bernie, Donald Trump. I don't know who Donald Trump is. He's a liar. He's a con artist. He's a salesman. So I don't know who he is. I just think that Donald Trump is a person who only cares about making money and himself. That's
Yeah.
it. So at least with Bernie, you heard him all the time saying the same thing over and over again because that's what he actually believed.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're talking about this because it matters. Like, this is not good. This is not to be ignored. She should not be this close to him. It should be 10, 15, 20-point lead over this con artist.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Ignoramus.
It's not, because people don't trust her, and they make the mistake of saying, I don't trust Hillary, therefore I'm going to give Trump a chance. I think that's a bad move. People say, I don't like Trump, therefore I'm going to give Hillary a chance. I agree. I disagree with that too. I think you have to hold them accountable based on the facts. I don't think either one of them passed the test. But I'm telling you, this is not good. That it should not be this close 9 weeks out.
I think she could listen. By all accounts, I think she's still going to win this thing. I think she could still win. I don't see Hillary. I don't see Donald Trump winning this. Do I think it'll be better? We'll be better off if Donald Trump wins? Yes, because I think we could defeat him in 4 years and not Hillary Clinton. But I think at the end of the day, she will win this. She'll come out of this clean. But for now, that's the bothersome truth.
Daniel, see you.